Psychology is teaching us a bit of who we are, and that I think is very exciting for students.
I never really had a subject before where I was just super invested in it and excited to do the work and excited to show up to class. But I just every night at dinner with my parents, I'd tell them everything that I learned in class that day.
The first thing they're getting is thinking about how to critically think, how to think scientifically, how to gather evidence, how to evaluate data, how to consider bias, consider how to be creative and even create an experiment that could help us learn about human behavior in the mind.
The homework that's provided and the essays and the different types of work that's provided, it all really gets me thinking.
I think 4 classes that really help students on the human services, education, and law pathway would be Introduction to Psychology, orienting them towards psychology and its subfields, Introduction to Psychological Research and the science of conducting psychological research, Introduction to Physiological Psychology and getting towards the biology and the neuroscientific underpinnings of our curriculum, and lastly, developmental, so looking at lifespan psychology. Students that go into nursing, students that go into education, students that go into legal fields, all need to really understand that lifespan psychology.
In my community, mental health is such a stigma, and it's not really common for people like me to pursue a career in psychology, so I thought, hey, I could kind of dismantle the stigma by being one of the first to actually do something like this, which is why I'm now passionate in psychology.
Psychology is very relevant to social movements, to social justice, and to how we see the world.
The pursuit of an education degree is really a big part of social science. Our classes are rich and vibrant and full of diversity, not only in gender and in age, but in cultures and in languages. We find that so rewarding to be able to have classrooms that reflect what's going on in our community. We work very closely with the Early Learning Center here on Bellevue College campus. We also have a number of partnerships in the community with different child care centers and different programs around the east side area of Seattle. We are able to give students opportunities to be student teachers. They're working closely alongside of the master teachers that we are lucky enough to have at the Early Learning Center. They get to experience how to develop curriculum, how best to establish relationships and connections with children, and why that relationship piece is so key. It's not only that you love children, but you have a passion to support them. You want to be there in a supportive role. You want to learn more about children. You want to give them opportunities. You want to give them wings so that they can go into their next experience in education eager and ready to learn.
You have to make decisions that can go from 0 to 60, literally, your police vehicle, or you might also have to use lethal force. We want to dive into what goes on behind our mind before we pull our weapon or before we pull our taser and make a choice. So students that gravitate towards criminal justice, this pathway of kind of crime and justice, tend to have really good oral skills, written skills. Nonverbal is key if you think about policing or any federal agencies that you might work for. Can you read someone's body language? As well as a lot of diversity classes, because you need to be able to work with a lot of people from different backgrounds and be able to understand where they're coming from, their culture, and maybe how they communicate as well. So advice I would have if you're looking at criminal justice is to take Introduction to Criminal Justice. It will introduce you to the whole system so that you understand what do these 50,000 different agencies do, and maybe find your niche. Maybe you were thinking of going into accounting, but now that you learned, you could maybe do forensic crime analysis. That might seem interesting from a financial standpoint for a local agency. So there's a lot out there. I always direct students to the Criminal Justice Training Center, CJTC. If you just Google that, it takes us to our Washington State Training Center, and that shows you all sorts of jobs that you can go into if you're interested. And you can always direct questions to any criminal justice instructor if you have questions about how to get into the field and the different steps to take.